Hey, what is up, mortals? It is Scythe here with another video for you guys. Welcome to part 3 of What If Deku Had an Intelligence Quirk. I just wanted to greet you guys by just saying sit back and relax. You're in for a treat. So, let's begin. What are you waiting for? Heroes don't wait for signals! President Mike yelled into the mic as the examinees stared wide-eyed at Izuku as he entered the test city, making a beeline for the furthest buildings. What? The students all roared as they chased after Midoriya. Instead, all of them rushed to the closest buildings. A boy with blue hair stood out from the crowd and followed Midoriya's actions, aiming for the further buildings first. On the other side of UA, in a test city not too dissimilar from Izuku's, Rikiya was running through a building already, rushing past random students and frantically looking for a dummy. So it was true! Not every room has a dummy in it! Rikiya thought as he entered a room and spotted a dummy in the far corner hidden by some rubble. So we'll have to be as efficient as possible! The redhead reached a hand out as a giant fist construct formed in the air in front of him and shot across the room, tapping the dummy on the head and dissipating it. That wasn't too hard to spot, Rikiya thought as he turned and exited the room, running along the hallway and dodging and weaving past different students, all rushing to find a dummy. Hey, get out of the way! A student cried as Rikiya reached the stairwell and immediately entered it, going to the lower floors of the building. I need points too, damn it! Another student yelled, their voice bouncing off the walls of the stairwell. Sorry guys, but I need these points too! Rikiya furrowed his eyebrows for a moment as he exited the building. Ha! Found you! Izuku said as he entered a room filled with debris and damaged furniture. Out of the corner of his eye, he spotted a dummy hidden under the wardrobe and immediately ran to it, pulled it out and tapped the button on its head. That makes 32! Building clear and on to the next one. Aha! Rikiya cheered as he spotted a 3-point dummy hidden behind a wardrobe? I've already found 3 of these guys behind wardrobes. I thought this would be a lot harder. Rikiya shook his head, dismissing the thought as he reached out and tapped the button on the dummy's head. So, how many points is that now? Rikiya thought to himself as he looked down at his hands and began counting the dummies he had found. 5, 6, 7, 8. That makes... Rikiya paused for a moment, staring blankly down at his hands before shaking his head once more. A lot! Let's go! The boy let out a small cheer before continuing on his way. Back to Izuku, he had just entered another building. His green squares scanned the room as he walked past them. Why is this so easy? Izuku thought as he entered another room and immediately spotted a dummy under a bed. It's almost too easy. I found the pattern of when a room is empty and when a room has a dummy, or more than one dummy. Walking to the bed, Izuku grabbed onto the dummy's leg and pulled it out from under the bed. It was a 1-1 pointer. Something's wrong. Something's missing. Izuku's eyes cautiously and slowly ran up and down the dummy, analyzing and memorizing every detail of it. This would be my 70th point. It's safe to assume I don't exactly need to go past 69. Izuku contemplated it for a moment, his eyes narrowed as he glanced at the door. Maybe. Just maybe. Standing up, the greenette dragged the dummy along with him and left it at the door of the room, and moved on to the next room. There's no way this could be this easy! UA is notorious for the fact that only 1% of examinees get in every year. Rikiya stared blankly up at the 5-story building in front of him. He could even see a dummy in one of the windows. Maybe. Rikiya narrowed his eyes for a moment before seeing something in his peripheral vision. Wait! Rikiya called out as he waved his arms in the air. It was an invisible student, aimlessly wandering around. Yeah? The student hesitated. Well... The student's appearance caught the boy off guard. After all, she was invisible. What? The girl's words hung in the air with a moment of silence before she started walking again. Wait! I can help you find a few dummies if you need them, Rikiya said abruptly, catching the student's attention immediately. And what's stopping you from taking them as soon as we spot them? The girl asked without hesitation, but Rikiya couldn't quite see it, but he knew she had raised an eyebrow. It's a hero's job to save lives. However, on top of that, it's also a hero's job to help others in need. Rikiya stood in a hero pose and puffed his chest out with a massive smile. I suppose so. Alright then, lead the way. The girl stifled a giggle due to the actions of her new... ally? Friend? What could she even consider him here? Either way, she was still hesitant about it. Alrighty. Oh, and the name's Rikiya. It's nice to meet you. Rikiya held a thumbs up and began to walk towards the entrance of the building. Nice to meet you. I'm Toru. The girl replied softly before following Rikiya. Izuku sat calmly on the roof of one of the many buildings in the test city, a small smile present on his face. Hey guys, I found more dummies in the doorways! I don't know if the examiners got lazy, or if another examinee was feeling generous, but here, take some too! A student's voice echoed throughout the building underneath him, causing the smile on his face to widen. No way! All the dummies in this building have been left out as well! Another student called out from the entrance of another building. Same here! Izuku couldn't help but let out a chuckle. His eyes moved to makeshift ropes going out the side of at least one window of every building in the surrounding block. I can't promise that you guys will get to pass, but it is a hero's job to help others after all. Izuku let out a sigh as he lay down on the concrete floor beneath him and began to watch the clouds. Quite the interesting development, Principal Nezu said, eyeing the screen that showed Izuku lying on the rooftop. That boy not only found out the hidden parts of the exam, but without a physically enhancing quirk, he managed to find every dummy in a block of buildings in under 5 minutes. I did not foresee this. Nezu sighed, his sentiment being shared by everyone in the room. It appears that his friend, the redhead, discovered the hidden part of the exam as well, All Might added, his eyes fixated on the screen with Rikia, using giant purple hands to take dummies out of the rooms and let other students touch the button. Yes, it appears that the student in front of him is the third person he is helping. Nezu continued, eyeing the screen as Rikia helped another redhead find dummies. How much time is left? Professor Mike asked himself as he looked down at his stopwatch. Oh crap! The pro hero facepalmed as he reached for his microphone. 10 seconds left, students! This video is sponsored by Skillshare. With the services Skillshare provides, you can get access to many in-depth tutorial videos on basically anything you want to learn. Each class that they have is bound to help you with your creative endeavors. Do you want to learn how to make videos like this one? Do you want to learn how to write scripts or edit audio? Skillshare has you covered. And with our link, you can have a 14-day free trial. So what are you waiting for? Click the link now and get 14 days worth of classes for free. Link in the description below. The entrance exam came to a close and all examinees were sent home. Izuku and Rikia met at the entrance of UA and began walking home. Man, that exam was too easy! Rikia heaved a sigh. It was. Izuku paused and glanced at his red-headed friend. What? Rikia raised an eyebrow. You did notice the hidden part of the physical, right? Rikia stared blankly at the greenette before slapping the back of his head. Ouch! What was that for? Izuku stopped walking and clutched the back of his head tightly. You know, for a smartass, you sure didn't see that coming, did ya? Rikia smirked as he glanced back at Izuku, not bothering to stop walking for him. I'll take that as a yes. Izuku grumbled as Rikia bursted out laughing. Of course I did! I even met this really nice girl. She was invisible, but she was very pretty. Izuku picked up his pace to catch up with Rikia, his eyes furrowing as his head visibly retracted. That makes no sense. I know, but... No buts, Lantern. Well... I win. Anyways, what was her name? Izuku pressured on. Oh, right! Her name was... no... Tori? Not Washi no Hato? Rikia knitted his eyebrows and thought deeply for a moment. You forgot, didn't you? Yeah. Rikia's shoulders slouched as Izuku simply just shook his head. The teens continued on their way home and split up at their usual meeting point, and both of them went to their respective homes. Mom, I'm home! Izuku called out as he entered the Midoriya apartment, the scent of his favorite food, katsudon, giving him a warm welcome. Oh, welcome home, sweetie. I'm in the kitchen. Inko responded in a very giddy tone, something that caught Izuku's attention. Was she glad he had gotten the exam over and done with? Hey, Mom. Izuku walked into the kitchen and smiled at Inko. And how did it go? Inko asked, not turning away from the food. Pretty good. I just need to wait for the acceptance letter now. Izuku walked to and sat down at the dinner table. This was a rather odd afternoon. He normally got hugged very tightly upon entering home on days like these. Well, actually, about that. The older Midoriya seemed very giddy, like she had a bright aura around her. Yes, Mom? Izuku raised an eyebrow, the corner of his lips curling up into a faint smile. I got a call from UA earlier and... Inko paused and turned around. A smile bigger and brighter than even an All Might's was plastered on her face. Congratulations on getting into UA, my boy! Inku threw her arms in the air with joy, pure motherly pride emanating from her. Oh, I see. Thanks. Izuku practically forced a smile. His muscles went lax and he found himself feeling empty. This was such a big moment in his life, and that was his best response? What's wrong, Izuku? Inko picked up on the stale, cold reaction from Izuku. Oh, it's nothing. Izuku spluttered the words out. However, this neutral feeling was still hanging over his body. It felt wrong. It felt empty and it felt cold. I just figured as much since I did memorize everything for the written part of the exam. Izuku did his best to sound a bit positive. Oh, I see then. Well, I made katsudon. Izuku's smile widened and became genuine this time, the emotion he seemed to like earlier returning to him. Thanks, Mom! The next few weeks went pretty normally. Izuku still attended the entrance exam to the law school, and he and Rikiya frequently met up at the Tagabo beach to train. Rikiya received his acceptance letter to UA about a month after the entrance exams, and soon the fated first day of UA came. Izuku and Rikiya met up at their usual meeting spot and walked to UA together. I wonder if the invisible girl made it in, Rikiya wondered, a sense of pride visible on his face as his eyes drifted to the famed UA uniform that he was now wearing. Well, if Kachan somehow managed to make it in, then I'm sure she could have with your help, Izuku replied, his thoughts drifting to the duo's childhood bully. Alright, he just barely made it in, didn't he? I'd just about forgotten about him, Rikiya replied. I suppose in recent years he wasn't that bad. Class 1A is right ahead. Izuku gestured in front of them. The voice of the explosive blonde was already making its way throughout the hallways as Izuku and Rikiya reached the rather large door of Class 1A. Take your feet off the table! You're disrespecting UA and all the students that sat here before you! A blue-haired boy commanded Bakugo, his arms flailing in the air like a robot. Shut up, Four Eyes! I'll do whatever I want! Bakugo yelled. That is not the appropriate etiquette for a student of UA! The boy straightened his posture and pushed his glasses further up his nose. Yeah, whatever. Bakugo grumbled as he directed gaze to the wall beside him. Should I be surprised? Rikiya said as he stared blankly at Bakugo. I wouldn't count on it, Izuku replied, his square eyes scanning the class for a moment as he looked for an open seat. Right, now I'm gonna go sit down now. Good luck finding a seat! Izuku waved a hand in the air as he made a beeline for an open chair. Oh, and don't get frightened when you look behind you. Izuku gestured behind Rikiya for a moment before sitting down, his voice catching the attention of the whole class, causing a sudden air of silence. So you did notice. Oh gosh! Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope that you enjoyed. Before you leave, we would just like to let you know that we the Celestials have many other channels for your entertainment and viewing purposes. All the information you'll need is right below here in the description, so feel free to check out all the other incredible projects our team creates. Secondly, on behalf of We the Celestials, I'd like to thank everyone involved in the production of today's awesome content. Their details will be in the description below. And that's all for today's video, so goodbye and have a divine day.